I think I'm going to have some overhaul-related nightmares.
Oh, which part?
That abomination he was.
I mean, which abomination? He was like 3.
The one where he was, like, waist up inside that thing.
Oh, come on. There's been way worse than that.
Oh my god, My Hero Academia Part 13.
That's an episode, not a part, but okay. This isn't a JoJo.
I think it's actually like episode somewhere in the 70s now.
Total count? Yeah, probably. Or at least getting close.
I think there will be like one aftermath of this, and then we'll end the invasion arc.
I think it's only going to be next episode because it seems like it's the cleanup. Like, you'll probably have the first section being like whatever end of the fight there is, if any, because it seems like Chisaki's pretty well knocked out at this point. And then it'll probably roll right into like the epilogue of this arc. Because we see, apparently Aizawa's fine. They get him out because he's walking around with Midoriya.
I still think Night Eye is going to die. That stone spike is pretty large.
Well, here's the thing, right? I might agree with you at this point because now we have had, like, the very end of this episode, him accepting that Izuku should be the holder of All for One, or One for All. That character arc has fully come around by the end of this episode. Now, whether or not he does die or not is kind of null and void because it doesn't matter now. He's come full circle, even if he hasn't admitted it. I do think he'll survive, especially since we've seen how Aries' ability works. And if she gets any kind of control over it, even if it's just changing targets, right? Because we don't know what it is that actually triggers it, right? Is it just her touch or just being in the vicinity of her? Because if it's just the touch, they can put her down and have her quick touch Night Eye and anyone else that's been injured.
Because will she rewind that spike's impact?
She'd rewind the damage to his body, so if they remove that while she's touching him, he would heal.
Oh, okay.
At least that's the way I think it would work.
Yeah, I'm not fully sure how her rewind exactly works. Deku was saying that, oh, my bones aren't broken.
I mean, they were, though. And it's because her ability was active, they healed so quickly he never felt the pain. Like, it's why he's able to use 100% of the One for All and keep going without shattering limbs. It's because they're shattering and then immediately healing before he even feels anything.
So, I was wrong as saying he would be using it for a fraction of a second.
We were both wrong because we didn't consider that he'd actually have Eri augmenting him to allow him to do it.
So if Eri doesn't become a hero with her rewind power, maybe she can be a super powered doctor.
I mean, she totally could be. She'd be good for that. She's still really young and she has to learn to control it, but she could totally go on to be whatever she wanted to be. A doctor would be a great version of that. Well, here's the thing too, though. What's the limit on it? Because there has to be some kind of limit. There's no way it's that powerful on its own.
Right.
And it clearly has something to do with that horn on her head because that's what was glowing.
Okay. Because I would assume that most people with strong quirks don't really become heroes because a lot of them might fail out of becoming a pro hero, and then maybe you can use your quirk in other ways.
It could be too that they follow whatever their quirk is tailored for. If there's some guy that has the ability to numb somebody, they could just bring that guy in and he'll numb somebody for an operation or something. You don't have to be the hero to use your quirk. Obviously there's probably people that don't want to put their lives in harm's way for that, or are too scared to do it.
Or then you have a really useless quirk like Deku's mother moving small objects.
It's true, though she also never trained, as far as I'm aware, with that. So there's a good chance she could have improved that. Because I mean, like, look at Mineta. Look at his fucking hairballs and like what those do. Those could be super useful, but they're kind of bland and stupid when you first think about them.
Yeah, but he could bring down Overhaul just by making him stuck.
Like maybe the first time, but once he realizes what it does, he's just gonna disassemble them. Um, no, but Midoriya's mom could have totally been something along the lines of like, oh, I don't know, she could have been like an undercover cop or something. Being able to move small objects like that, she could like sneak notes or things out of people's pockets and into her own. Information she could leak out to like other officers or something, or agents or whatever.
I'm just surprised Overhaul merged with something else again.
Yeah, and he doesn't seem to be complaining about it, but I think it's because he's too mad to care at this point. We did get to hear what his full like plan was, which is an interesting one. Play both sides, give the villains the erasing quirk, and then give the solution to bring them back to the heroes.
So the Yakuza can gain so much money.
Yeah, and be the underground kings. The problem is, what happens when both sides figure out you're playing them for fools?
Oh.
Like, that's great at first, but when all of a sudden both of them decide, no, fuck these people, like, as powerful as Chisaki is, I don't think he'd be able to take down an army.
Of heroes and villains.
Yeah, somewhere in there's going to be someone with a quirk that hard counters him. I mean, we saw Ares' ability straight up force him to, like, split from his other dude, the Truth Teller.
And he lost an arm somewhere along the line.
I believe that was, like, in the impact of the thing falling down, I want to say. When, like, everything smashed in. Also, when did she get... when did Toga get Izuku's blood? Was it during that bit where they had, like, that quick clash?
I think?
Because I know he got stabbed, but I didn't think she got the knife with his blood on it.
I think?
Unless I'm misremembering and thinking it was Rocklock's blood.
And I know this is like a G-rated anime, but she does not have nipples.
Wasn't she still covered by, like, the slime that makes up her costume at that point? Like, I don't think we got anything because the Deku mask was like falling off of her.
I didn't stare hard, but yeah, but it just seemed like she didn't have nipples, and I'm like, that's weird.
I think it's because the shit was coming off of her because we only got the one shot of her up front, and then we got a shot from behind as they're looking down into the hole, and at that point she doesn't have anything on. But yeah, so we have the League of Villains that were originally going to plan to steal Eri again, which would have been really interesting if they managed that.
So I was half right that Toga and Twice really aren't siding with Overhaul and becoming quote unquote like full villains. Like they have their own goals, but it seems that they're not potentially 100% evil.
See, that's the interesting bit with the League, right? That's kind of the way they're playing them. They're not outright evil, but they don't like the way that society currently is. Twice doesn't like to hurt people. Like, at least that's the way it seems. He does so out of necessity and because he wants to see the world change that allow outcasts like them to just live normal lives. Toga's more or less the same way. She's just a bit more like, I don't want to put it,
Yandere?
yandere, but also interested in seeing people struggle.
So the struggle will help humanity evolve into something better than itself?
I don't think she thinks that far ahead. I think she just likes the show. And I mean, that's the same way that Shigaraki is. He's a lot like Deku, and they mirror each other, except, Shigaraki wants to change the world to allow the outcasts in and just take down the heroes that aren't actual heroes, I think. He thinks heroes have left people behind, including the League of Villains. Like, they're the people that have fallen through the cracks in that society. The ones that aren't outright villains, that are like criminals, but the ones that are forgotten and left at the side.
So would he also accept a world where anybody can be a hero, that you don't need to be a pro hero to be recognized as a hero?
I don't think that's his goal. I don't think he'd be interested in that because that's still upholding the same ideals as before. That still means people fall through the cracks and are forgotten. I mean, just look at how he came to be. It's literally because his mother, not I think it was his mother, I forget exactly what the blood relation is. I want to say mom, but his mom, the one that gave All Might all for one for all, she cut herself off from her family to protect them. But in doing so, she left him all alone. Eventually, All for One comes in, takes him under his wing, probably kills his dad, and starts showing him how things are evil and wrong in this world. Starts twisting him. And while he may not be an outright criminal, he doesn't like the way this world is now. With some degree of. He has some degree of, like, correctness in this. It's true. People get lost and slip between the cracks and are left out to dry.
But that fight between Overhaul and Deku, that was awesome.
I wasn't expecting English lyrics to come playing in there, I'll be honest. And when I heard it, I thought for a second something was playing on another tab. I'm like, shit, is something else playing? What's going on here?
Because literally you have like 30 tabs open at once.
I mean, I probably have technically more than that, but there are worse people out there.
Oh my god, dude, I literally have like 5, maybe 6 open maximum.
Look, man, just because you can't multitask.
Gotta keep those pages you frequent right on the tab.
I mean, it's true, because I generally flip back and forth between them.
Bookmarks? What the hell is that?
Yeah, but I literally go between them in, like, the same day, within the same hours, right? Like, I'll open up a YouTube video, listen to it in the background, and then flip over to, like, a game guide or something that I want to, look at and be like, I can't figure this shit out. Tell me how to do it, internet. I don't know. And then there's, like, whatever manga page I'm on that, for whoever the fuck knows, I'm going to get back to it and start reading through it again. Or in the case of, like, oh, I don't know, watching My Hero, I keep the main list page open. So that way I can drop in and just be like, all right, cool. New tab, watch the episode. Cool. I can just close that tab now, leave the list open. I get to that later.
Fair enough.
But yes, this episode, we got the plan, we got the fight. Was not expecting English lyrics at all.
Nor was
that threw me for a
I.
loop. That threw me for a loop. I wasn't ready for just straight up an English song coming in.
Why was it in English?
You got me. I'm not saying it was bad. I'm just saying I wasn't ready for it. Because I don't think we've gotten, like, outright English lyrics like this in My Hero at all. It wouldn't shock me if it happened in, like, JoJo's. We've had them, like, as ending songs and stuff.
Wasn't there a recent Brandon's Discuss anime we did that had a... I think it was Dragon Ball Super.
Yeah, no, there's totally, like, some weird shit going on there that there's English lyrics. And no, I don't remember if there was a Brandon's Discuss anime on specifically that. Or, like, what is it called?
Random Musings?
Yes, Random Musings. That's what I'm looking for.
Hmm.
I couldn't think of a random musings that we've actually discussed that on.
No, but I actually think it was the main fight theme of the Tournament of Power arc. I think that had lyrics in English in Japanese and English dub.
Like there's stuff when there's a point when it's spliced in like little bits and pieces or words. Like that just happens, right? That happens on occasion. It's when the whole song is in English that or like another language in general that's not Japanese that it's like, wait, what? So in this case, the whole thing was English as it was playing. There was no Japanese in there that I can think that I noticed or remember at this moment. I think it was all English.
I'd be interested to know if it was a Western artist performing it, or was it some Japanese artist singing in English, and I would wonder why.
I'd be curious as to the why. It wouldn't shock me if it was a Japanese artist singing in English, because there are some of them that do that really well. The Persona 5 soundtrack, any of the English tracks in there are done by a native-born Japanese woman, and she sounds pretty damn close to English, like she was born over in England or England, yeah, in America. If nobody had told me, I would have never guessed, or if I wouldn't have looked it up. Like if you just heard those songs, you would never guess she was Japanese.
And doing a slight sidetrack, that one lounge singer song in Katamari Damacy.
Mm.
That sounds like a American lounge singer.
Mm-hmm.
But why is that one song in English?
Well, hey, like that. Well, fuck it. Back to Persona 5. The entire song is like hip hop kind of. Oh, not hip hop. What's the word? Like a jazz singer. Like you got a female jazz vocalist in there. It sounds like American jazz.
Huh.
And you'd never get, like I said, never guess she was Japanese. You have no idea because there's like next to no accent in there. I think there's only one word that might be flubbed, and it's because it's a really fast line, and people tried to make a big deal out of it until they were pointed out this is a Japanese person singing English lyrics. Of course, it's not going to be perfect. This isn't her first language, and she's not, as far as I'm aware, fluent. But yeah, that we're on a completely different topic at this point.
Back to My Hero Academia.
Ari, rewind us, please. Yeah, there's not really much to say. I saw people saying about 100% Infinite being like a new form for Deku, but that's not accurate at all. It's not a form at all. It's literally just a shortcut that he cannot use again.
Because even if he would train himself, he would still break bones.
No, I think if he trains himself and gets there, he can do it. It's literally just the fact that like this is a shortcut for the time being to use 100% of One for All. Like he can't do this normally at this point. He needs to train more to get there. The only thing as far as that like idea of a form goes that changed is I guess his hair got spikier.
And it was glowing.
Yeah, but his hair, like his eyes already glow, and his hair glowing doesn't, at least in my mind, it doesn't really change much. Like to me, it's just him showing off that power more, right? Because we see the green lightning around him already. His eyes glow green. His hair starting to do that doesn't surprise me. It's more the fact that like it's the spikiness of the hair. The fact that it's raising his hair is interesting.
So, do you think this whole drug storyline is completely over, or will we see it come up again down the line in some form?
I'm going to reserve putting down any definites on that until we see the next episode. Right now, we still don't know where that like case is containing those quirk killer bullets. I don't think Chisaki had them anymore. I don't think he had them at this point. Because again, last we knew, he threw them to the guy that with the gun that was going to shoot Eri, and got Lemillion. That's the last we saw of that. I don't think he ever got it back. So for all we know, my theory of the League picking that up could still happen.
But he does have a little bit of the enhancer drug because, inhaling guy was affected by it.
Yeah, but it seemed like his was on a delayed effect, and that was done without Chisaki ever being there. Like, Chisaki was still down in the underground. He didn't do anything. It seemed like, because the way it was worded, and, I don't know how accurate the subs are here as far as, like, if they're official subs or not, but he said it finally kicked in. So it sounded like he injected himself earlier, and it only started kicking in now that he was captured.
Maybe because he's larger? I don't know.
It could be. It could be that it was a variant of the drug that has delayed, activation point. Your guess is as good as mine. There's a couple of different options here that aren't really clear as to why that was delayed.
So after this is done, what do you think the next adventure will be?
Hard to say.
Or like the next story arc? Do you think we'll have like a school-centered arc?
Maybe. I'm really curious because thinking back now, the only character we haven't seen that actually has like the outside of that has the work thing that like Izuku and Froppy and the others have is Tokiyomi. Is our stand user with Dark Shadow. He got one, but he's not here. So I'm curious what his was all about, what his hero agency was doing while this was all going on. Maybe we get a little bit of what Todoroki and Bakugo are going through, trying to maybe get their hero licenses because they still failed from last time.
Oh, yeah.
Who knows? At this point, I have no idea because I haven't read the manga. I don't know what comes up next.
I just have a feeling after this action arc, we're going to have a slight bit of back in school comedy arc.
We haven't had that, though, ever.
I don't mean like full out flat comedy. I mean lighter, easier going arc.
Again, I don't think we've ever really had that.
Wouldn't you say
Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I don't think it'll be as dark as this one is, but every time there's been like some pretty severe stuff on the line, one way or the other.
But
like short of the school or the school tournament arc that went on. I'm blanking on it. The sports festival. Short of the sports festival, most of it since then has been fairly serious about what they're doing. So unless there's some kind of sports festival thing again.
okay, let me rephrase that. It will be the level of severity as the sports festival arc.
Okay, maybe. A lot of that was a lot more personal stuff rather than like outside interference at that point too.
I don't know. I just feel like after this seriousness, they'll just have to like dial it back one or two notches to make it a little bit less dark, as you said. I don't know.
I mean, that's the way every arc starts out. We go easy from the first couple episodes and then it just starts ratcheting up. Like, obviously you get your cooldown with that. Whether or not the arc's the same thing, who knows?
Yeah, but join us next week when
Before you do, any predictions for next episode?
Night Eye will probably die.
Why do you hate Night Eye so much?
I don't know, like ever since he got like
Actually, I lie. When I said his arc was complete, it's not. He hasn't apologized to All Might yet. That's the one thing he hasn't done.
ever since he's impaled by that, but like Lemillion got pierced and Night Eye just got straight up impaled.
Yes.
So I'm just like, there's no way he's going to survive that. But then again, with Ares Rewind, I don't know.
That, and we don't know if there's someone on hand with a healing quirk.
Right?
There could be someone.
So does this mean, like I was saying about 2 weeks ago, when we both let on that we did know Ares' quirk was Rewind?
Yeah.
So once she masters it, do you think she could rewind Lemillion's quirk rewinding?
I don't see why not. It's kind of at least hinted at very heavily that she literally rewound her father to pre-birth. like there's an episode of I know you never watched this, but the episode of the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy where they go to Father Time and I'm pretty sure it's Father Time, and Father Time has like hourglasses for literally every single person, right? And as the grains in the top go down to the bottom, they grow up. Well, somebody over there made a mistake or something. I forget how it happens exactly, but they flipped it upside down. So now the grains are going in the wrong direction and they're constantly getting younger to the point where they do become fetuses.
Oh.
So my assumption for what happened to Aries' father is that she rewound him to the point where he was probably just a single cell and that cell died.
Oh.
Because at that point, I don't know if she could rewind it to the point where it's like just sperm and egg.
Huh.
Because that brings in the whole lot of like, well, where does life actually start and how far does her power push? Point is, I think he went back to the point where he was like baby, like barely a cell, and that's why there's nothing there when they say they looked for him and there was nothing.
They would need a microscope.
Yeah, probably.
So, join us next week for more episode discussions.
Yes, I'm looking forward to how they wrap this one up and whatever the preview is for the next episode.
Yeah, and then, I have no idea where this is going after this.
I'm super curious. I still want to know if the league gets their hands on those bullets because they have 4 to work with.
That would be dangerous if they could, like, reverse engineer it.
See, that's what I'm thinking. I think they might get that because we don't know where that case is. I think that's what they're going to come away with.
Uh-oh. Later?
Bye.